In an era gone by, USC Ohio State would have been a magical matchup in postseason play for any Big Ten, Ohio State, Pac-12, USC fan to know that they were playing another one of these story traditions in college football. We're talking Ohio State football each and every week with Claire Crawford from the Ozone, and you can catch her show with Joe Dexter. Oh, hail no. And Claire, I was just mentioning, if you didn't hear me, that in an era gone by, it would have been magical to say Ohio State and USC are going to meet in the postseason. And that's all you would have need to know, that you're going to play USC. And that would have just been, you would have known it would have been in Pasadena with those beautiful rose decals on the field and the beautiful setting there in Southern California on January 1st. This one a little bit different, and with the playoff stealing all the thunder, how do you get excited for this one? Do you get excited for this one?
I am actually more excited for this game than I thought I would be excited for a Buckeye Bowl game that was not a playoff. And part of it is because of the reasons that you mentioned before, because I'm a college football fan. It's a classic matchup. The series is close between the two, even though the Trojans are winning in the series. But the thing that makes me excited about this game is these are two teams with something to prove. These are two teams with a chip on their shoulder that got snubbed and want to send a message saying, this is why we should have been chosen. And for anything else other than to send their seniors out on the best possible note, I think that is probably the biggest message that these two teams can send to the committee.
So we've seen Urban Meyer a number of times throughout his career not play for national championships, but still post a very impressive bowl record. Clay Helton, very new to the scene, went to postseason play for the first time as a head coach on this level last season and won the Rose Bowl on the last play of the game in a very entertaining, high-scoring game against Penn State. So the motivation argument is always made in bowl games outside of the playoff, particularly of teams that have high aspirations and then aren't able to follow them through, and then they play in what could be considered a meaningless bowl game. So your selling point's great. Do you think Urban Meyer is going to be able to make the same sale to his team?
You know, I don't think that's going to be like the prime resting place for where they need this motivation to be. I think it could be a big part. I'm not Urban Meyer. I don't know how he likes to motivate his team. But I will say, when you start to look at these teams and the matchup on paper, which is how I forensically have to go back and study USC aside from watching film, is that this should be a game of the big play. What USC is giving up on the ground, they're giving up almost 160 yards per game. And we've seen a J.K. Dobbins that was the MVP of the Big Ten Championship and a Mike Weber with a 1-2 punch on the ground. Even though USC is proven to be very, very good in the red zone, they're giving up a lot of third downs, and Ohio State has been very efficient in that category. So I think as far as big plays go, with Sam Darnold being a very dynamic, very exciting player to watch for USC, JT Barrett, this is his very last game, I think. I mean, does he have somehow some random eligibility that he's not telling us all about? But definitely it's going to be, I think, a game where we could see some exciting back and forth happen.
After the disappointing game against Oklahoma, Urban Meyer was met with these comments concerning JT Barrett and possibly making a quarterback change, and then it reared its ugly head again, even after the outstanding comeback against Penn State, when the very next week they go to Iowa City and JT throws 4 interceptions. And then, considering his health coming out of the Michigan game and going into the Big Ten championship game, Do you think that JT's career has been very uh, much compromised in the view of most fans? That's what I see on social media, that there's not a high level of appreciation. There are always going to be critics unless you win the national championship. There are going to be critics, and I just hear a lot of comments made that can't wait to see this guy go.
Right.
Haskins in there.
I think JT Barrett could get a Heisman Trophy, get his PhD in the 5 years that he was there. I think JT Barrett could be, he is the most decorated Ohio State quarterback of all time. I think JT Barrett could win a national championship. He did. Big Ten championship. He did and did. JT Barrett can do all that. And for some reason, it is never going to be good enough for some fans. I don't know whether it's because he's not very flashy. I don't know whether it's because he's not been super consistent. But you can't take away what JT Barrett has done for this team. It cannot be disputed. The combination that we're going to see, the two quarterbacks between Ohio State and USC, it's JT Barrett and Sam Darnold. Again, it's not going to be super flashy, but I think this is absolutely going to be one for the ages. And no, I don't think there's anybody that wanted JT Barrett to not play in the Big Ten championship. I don't think that you're going to change their mind. There's nothing he can do in this game to change their minds at this point.
Talking Ohio State football with Claire Crawford. Join her and her co-host, Joe Dexter, on Oh Hail No. You can catch it on theozone.net each and every week. When has that become public for all of us, Claire? When do you typically record?
Joe and I need to get together badly. Right now, it is a bookmark. He is a very busy guy with two beautiful young daughters. So Joe and I still have yet to put together a Ohio State USC prediction show. I miss my pal like crazy. He is the I won't say he's the peanut butter to my jelly, because I think I might actually be made of peanut butter. But we are definitely a dynamic duo. So if you get the chance to see any of our older episodes, feel free. It's mostly comedy and food and a little bit of college football.
So the comment about the peanut butter, is that based on how much peanut butter you consume?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a problem. I eat a lot of peanut butter.
Well, it's high in protein.
It is.
We can look at the benefits.
It is.
All right. So we've got about close to a month to dive into this one. So we will do so in future weeks. USC, Ohio State, a lot of big-time talent on both sides going at it. And we will dive into the history. 7 straight for the Trojans. So there's not been a lot of good history for the Buckeyes in recent years, meaning recent 40 years in this kind of cross-country rivalry of sorts that of years gone by, with those being the premier programs in the Pac-12 or the Pac-10 at the time, or the Pac-8 at one time, and the Big Ten. All right, Claire, appreciate you dropping by as well, and providing me with even more fodder for the College Football Playoff Committee.
I apologize, but I also appreciate it, because I don't know if I feel any better. I'm just going to be over here sipping my tea, as they say, while I watch, hopefully, the best team win the national championship.
All right, Claire, you have a good night. I appreciate it.